should know. I have never really liked you at all. I cannot hide it anymore. I've been thinking about the future, trying to forget about the past. So many ways that I could change for the better. Don't even know where to begin. If I allow myself to dream, will it be as good as it seems? Pull me out of this place in the middle, in the middle. Nothing more to embrace in the middle, in the middle. If I try to climb up the wall, everyone can see when I Take me up into the mountains, send me off into the wild. Misery is still a path I would choose if the alternatives are worse. I guess it's time to find a friend, one who will stick by to the end. Going out of my mind in the middle, in the middle. Wasting all of my time in the middle, in the middle. I take the fight and spit it out, unaware of what it's about. I'm not that good at faking it. I feel somehow I've broken it. I don't believe I'm part of it. In the If I try to climb up the wall, everyone can see when I fall. Nothing really matters at all. Pull me out of this place in the middle, in the middle. Nothing more to embrace in the middle, in the middle.
This is a true crime discussions channel. We speculate. This is all just speculation. Because it's true crime, it's for mature audiences only. There will be no children allowed, no exceptions. Everything on this channel falls under fair use. Please remember to like, comment, subscribe, and share. It's free.
Hey y'all, it's good to see you. I was getting my links posted in my description box. Hey Hio, Sleepless in South Africa, Abellis, Jeannie B, Screaming Daisies, Rachel, Hazel Eyes, Bad Girl, my lovely, Michelle, Abellis, my lovely, Tony, Anders, Gray Moonis, good to see you all. So hard to see, good to see you. Misty Mo, Cozy Constellations, Lori Green, good to see you. Jennifer Collins, Ali X, good to see you. That's as far up as I can go right now. If I missed you, chat so I'll see you. Hey Edith, think I got y'all. Michelle, okay. So there's some new audio that Plunder has gotten. I have submitted a FOIA for it. Sorry, I'm standing by the door. But I haven't gotten it back yet. And regardless of whether I have gotten it back yet or not, I got it from Plunder. You know, I was irritated, and I'm still kind of irritated because I've asked them for everything they have, right? And they got mad at me. They were like, told me like 6 times, we've sent you everything we have. And everybody keeps finding more stuff. I'm glad they found it, though. So I'm going to play Plunder's video. Hey, Free Gaza. I didn't see you. Hey, Katia. I'm going to play Plunder's video. She is linked in the description box, and she's also the pinned comment at the top. If you have not subscribed to her, please do, especially if you're into Madeline Soto. She's got lots of information on it. This is going to have her breakdown of it, but she's like really intelligent, and I really like her a lot, so I like her breakdown. So we're going to listen to the audio. It's going to have her commentary. When I get the audio back, I will put it out on my page without commentary. So we're going to start with this. Then we'll discuss some more document I have. I'm going to go over with y'all. The rest will be put out in videos and some other updates in some other cases. So with that, again, this is Plunder. She's in the description box. She is the pinned comment at the top. If you guys haven't subscribed, please do so.
Did Maddie talk to you about if she was feeling ill or sick or anything like that?
No, but I did notice that she was
Plunder, true crime audio.
I don't know if this is weird or anything.
Okay, hello there. I wanted to talk to you about these 2 interviews I didn't expect to get today. They are 2 interviews from March 12th, 2024 with 2 of Madeline Soto's little friends at...
Now, at first, I thought it was the audios that we discussed in the live the other day, but these are from March 12th. The audios I had were from when they were still looking for Maddie. It was 2 people that they had interviewed at the school. So this is from after she's deceased. And the most important thing that stuck out to me, which appears to be what stuck out to her as well, is that Maddie was wearing baggy clothes. And she didn't usually do that, which I found very interesting. Yeah, I know she watermarked it because people will steal it and claim it that as theirs and not give people credit, which I find absolutely disgusting. Even if I have my own FOIAs, like my own audio, I always say, like, because if she hadn't have got this, I wouldn't have known it existed, right? So when I put my audio out, when I get it back from the FOIA request, I'm going to tell, that if it hadn't been for her, I wouldn't even know it existed because they done told me they gave me everything. Like, I'm about to submit about 27 FOIAs. And when they fuss at me, I'm going to say, well, you told me you gave me everything and obviously you didn't. So I got to check again. I don't know what to tell you. That's where I'm at with it.
At Hunters Creek Middle School. We know there's a whole bunch of movement going on in the case of Stephen Stearns, and we know some minors are having their depositions taken, these video depositions. Well, I was on the hunt for an interview with one of Stephen Stearns' friends, a friend who's as close as a brother, Chase Leonard.
I want that interview too. I didn't even know that there was an interview out there that existed like that. I am dying to hear that one, but evidently they're not going to let anybody have it until trial. which isn't cool. Hey, Foxy Amazon, good to see you, love. And Jeannie B, Cassandra, good to see y'all. Donna Gardner, good to see y'all all coming in. Thank you for being here. Again, this is Plunder. She's pinned at the top. Please give her a like and subscribe.
So I was FOIAing and sending in public records requests for Chase Leonard's interview from all these Florida entities. Well, they were getting back to me saying they don't have them. They don't have them, at least 2 so far. But one of them ended up giving me all the other stuff. They're saying, okay, here you have everything already. And I'm going through the list and I see these 2 interviews with Maddie's friends. And I'm thinking, I don't think I've heard this before. It's been nearly 1 year since Madeline Soto went missing, February 26, 2024. And unfortunately, she was found March 1st. Since then, her mother's boyfriend, Stephen Stearns, has been arrested. He's still sitting in jail, and he's trying to escape the worst penalty that Florida wants to give him. Whole bunch of...
Y'all, about that, there was like my lovely mod, Hio, dropped like 20 documents in my Discord of basically Stephen Stearns' attorneys filing all these documents trying to get the death penalty taken off the table. I have linked her in my description box. She has done a breakdown of a lot of these documents, just short 2 and 3 little minute videos where she breaks down the documents. If you guys want to hear her interpretation, she is our voice of reason over here. And she got those from As the Gavel Drops Discord, which I've also linked in the description box. That's where I got my document we're going to talk about today. And if you go subscribe to their Discord, it's free, and you can get access to these documents and documents for like every case. She also sent me some more in the Richard Allen case, all the documents you could ever want. So definitely go check out As the Gavel Drops Discord. They, again, are linked in the description box. And Hio breaking down the documents. As soon as I can read through all these documents, edit those videos, I'll put them out. So, like, if you want to just listen to the document being read, I'll have those videos out later. And then you can check out Hio, her breakdown of them, or however you want to do it. Please hit the thumbs up. Hey, Toxic Orchid and Nessa UK. It's good to see y'all all. Also, yesterday I read a timeline, showed you guys a timeline from Megan Boswell. That was from True Crime Addict. And I will grab her link and drop it in the chat. She's got a YouTube page. But again, we're listening to Plunder. I'm going to stop talking so much. I apologize. She's pinned at the top of the comment section and in the description box. Please give her a like and subscribe.
Bunch of documents going in. But what these children have to say about Maddie, I've never heard it before. Forgive me if you have. I searched and searched and searched, and don't think these videos have been published yet, or the audio rather. One of Maddie's friends, the first one, she's going to talk about Maddie wearing, baggier clothes, more baggy clothes than usual in the week or so prior to her disappearance. And the other girl is going to talk about Maddie's crush. Now, she wasn't as close of friends with Maddie, but she does talk about Maddie having a crush on this little boy. I'm not going to name these minors. I'm putting up the no commentary version of both of these interviews. In total, it's only about 15 and a half minutes long because the first one is like 9 minutes. So the next one is only like 6 minutes. So if you want to just listen over there, I will put the link below. Now, this is not Maddie's friend SE. Those initials, you might know who I mean, but I believe I've already heard her interview. Now, on my birthday, actually, April 22nd, 2025, SE and EG and LL all have their video depositions. Well, these are none of these children you're going to hear coming up. You're going to hear from a girl, I will call her IS, and then the next girl you'll hear, I will call her SS.
So these are not the girls that are in the depositions that we already went through their interviews on the live, and that's the only place I released them at, because they were minors and I don't feel it's prevalent to the case. However, these audios are, if they're talking about her wearing baggy clothes and, just things they saw at the school, I think that is relevant and prevalent to the case. These are not the ones that they're taking depositions for so far. They might eventually, but we haven't seen them be called as far as taking depositions right now. Hey, Tahara.
So I was searching for Chase Leonard's interview. I'm going to put my thoughts about Chase Leonard's interviews in a different video because that's what I plan to film today. He's interviewed with a couple of YouTubers. Stephen Stearns' mom has mentioned Chase. There's a lot. So I was going down.
Okay. See, that's what I've been wondering that too. Like this guy Chase that we listened to his interview on Jay for Justice. She's another great channel. I'll have to grab her link. But she interviewed Chase, and that was the one we heard about him talking about Stephen like drinking horse semen, or not drinking it, trying to put his semen in with the horse semen or some kind of craziness. I apologize. I should have provided a trigger warning. But yeah, I would love to hear the interview he gave to the police as well. Definitely check out Plunder for that video as well, because I'll definitely be checking in on that. Hey, Ava. Good to see you. Miss Holmes, good to see you.
Down that rabbit hole because I'm like, what are we missing? There's a lot of interviews we're missing.
Right.
And I couldn't find Chase's yet. I don't know if authorities ever even interviewed him, which would be kind of strange to me, maybe not. But in lieu of Chase, we got these two girls' interviews, and it kind of shocked me. Let's talk about them in depth. Let's talk about why Maddie's friend may have said she was wearing these longer clothes, longer hoodies, what it could have meant the week before her disappearance. And let's talk about the other friend's interview and what Maddie was talking about with her that Friday before she disappeared. Okay, so this first one, it's March 12th. You can tell they're at the school. One is just right back to back against the other. So I'm calling her IS.
All right, real quick. So the date is...
Oh my gosh. I've never seen that picture of Maddie. Look at that baby. See, y'all seen these pictures like this, and then the pictures where she's doing her ABCs, the video that Period Point Blank made. And I don't know, those videos and stuff, they seem different. They seem like she was really cared for and loved and just doted over. And like this picture and those videos, it's like, what happened? Because you don't see many videos like that after she got, probably after about the ABC video. I haven't seen a lot of videos of her past the toddler age. They just kind of jump to recent. And I'm sure there's some out there, but I'm like, damn, I mean, would that point to Jen being jealous of Maddie? So she was angry with her, didn't really take a lot of pictures and things, always had some kind of hostility towards her. You know what I mean? Yeah, Stefan happened is what it appears. Nessa. I know, she's so adorable, isn't she?
March 12th, 2024. The time is 12:27 p.m. Myself, Detective Morris, Detective Smallwood. We are at Hunters Creek Middle School on reference case number 24001896. So, real quick, what is your first name?
Plunder, True Crime Audio.
Like the country?
Mm-hmm.
And what's your last name?
That's redaction.
How, or what's
Hey,
your birthday?
overprotected.
10.
Okay, I checked all of the devices are off. I don't know why it's doing that. Hopefully it won't be glitchy today.
Your address?
That's a good question.
Okay.
I think
Do
it's
you have a phone number?
no.
You don't have a phone. Okay.
I don't have a phone, but I have a Snapchat. That's it.
Okay. What is your, do you live with both mom and dad?
Mm-hmm.
What's your mom's name?
Janelle Wright. I live with my stepdad and
Okay.
my mom.
All right. What's your mom's last name?
Right.
WRIGHT?
Yeah.
Do you know her phone number?
Yes.
Okay.
They redacted it. It's not.
Okay. What grade are you in?
7th.
7th. Okay. So in 7th grade, I'm pretty sure you know the difference between truth and a lie. Okay. So I don't have to question on that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So during our conversation today, do you swear to tell me the truth and nothing but the truth?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I'm a
Perfect.
really bad liar anyway, so.
Well, that's good. You never want to become a good one.
That is too cute. She said I'm a really bad liar anyway. And that's right. You don't want to become a good liar. That's not good to become a good liar. So I thought that was sweet. Aw.
So
Hey, Hobby Farmer and Janet, and anybody else coming in. I appreciate y'all being here.
Okay.
She does tell the officer she doesn't have a phone number, but the little girl has Snapchat somehow. The main thing that strikes me is this girl, she's so affable and lovable, and then you can hear the next girl is more shy, but it really just lets you know how young these girls are. And it struck me of, oh my goodness, what was Madeline putting up with? All these adult issues foisted upon her in a horrible way, and she was just a young girl. This 7th grade.
It does, and it's heartbreaking because I can almost hear more of a level of maturity in the best friend's voice, which, you know, when you're around your friend, you're going to want to be, you know, if you're really young and immature and you have a friend that's like mature and seems more adult to you, especially at that age, you're going to want to act like them. You're going to want to impress them. You know, you always want to impress your friends and things. That's how girls are, especially in school. So it's weird to me to hear the other friends be so young sounding and not, you know, immature, but in a good way, like they're supposed to be. Innocent, immature, don't know the ways of the world. And then you hear Bestie talk and she's more mature, she's more adult like. And I wonder if that is how Maddie was. And, you know, Maddie rubbed off on her. Maddie was obviously more adult, more mature because she had to be with everything she was going through. And I wonder if it rubbed off on Bestie, and that's why she sounds like that. I'm hoping I'm making sense here. Hey, Looney, I'm sorry that you think I talk too much. I do remind you that this is a live. I put out videos if you don't want to hear me talk so much, you know, you can go watch the video yourself. And it's kind of loony to come into a live and tell them that they talk too much, but God bless you, sweetheart.
Grader starts out by saying she's a really bad liar because the cop is saying, you know, he has to ask them, their children, do you know right from wrong? Do you know the meaning of it all? And she's like, yes, and I'm a really bad liar anyway. And the cop is saying, well, you don't ever want to be a good liar.
So we are here to talk about Miss Maddie. Okay. And
you want the other one later?
Yeah, she can wait a minute. So myself and Detective Smallwood here, we are the lead investigators on her case. Mm-hmm. Okay. So what we're trying to do is talk to as many people as possible to find out what Maddie was all about, what she liked, what she disliked, and stuff like that. Okay. From what we understand, we think, you know, yeah. From what we understand is that was Maddie.
Hey, the Minds Behind True Crime with Dr. Vonna, Indie Girl, Norma, Mary, I saw y'all coming in. For everybody coming in, this video is from Plunder. She's linked at the top of the chat and in the description box. I will put these videos out when I get the FOIA back on my page. For now, you can go check them out on her page and in her Patreon. I think she's got the ones with no commentary.
Maddie's best friend. Is that true? Mm-hmm. Okay.
Thank you.
Now, did you have any classes with Maddie?
No, but I would see her like when we were transitioning classes. I would see her. I see her at Recharge, hang out with her then.
Okay. What kind of friends do you think you were with her? Like good friends?
Really good friends. I loved her a lot.
Okay. Did you ever communicate with her?
This child just said I loved her a lot. Isn't that so sweet?
The phone, or like, because you said you don't have a phone, just Snapchat, right?
Yeah.
Hey, Florida girl.
Would you communicate with her via Snapchat?
No, actually, I have a weird story about that.
Okay, what's your story?
But she's so cute. She says she was really good friends with Madeline. She loved her a lot. Now, this particular girl lives with her mom and stepdad. She knows that.
Isn't that just sweet? I saw that Dainty Dane came in, Lisa Elliott, and Zita. I'm going to call you Zita. Zita came in. I'm not good with names. Thank y'all for being here. Sorry.
The truth versus lies. At this point, we hear like a teacher or someone counselor open the door, it's creaking, and she's like, do you want the other one later? Obviously, the other girl is waiting in the wings. And so this girl who's there being interviewed, you know, you can hear her greet her friend like, hi, SS. It's cute. And the cop says, yeah, she can sit out there. So they both point to.
Overprotected, thank you so much for the super chat. I really appreciate that. Overprotected said, we love the commentary. Thank you. That's so sweet. Thank you, Overprotected. That was so very sweet of you. I really appreciate the support. Donna said, Maddie having her best day waving the streamer. Who knew what would happen 24 hours later? It's really sad to think about, isn't it? I mean, you know, she seemed legitimately happy in that photo. Away from Stearns, away from Jen, just happy. And less than 24 hours, she'd be no longer on this earth. It's really sad. Thank you again, Overprotected. That was so sweet of you.
To this other SE girl who is Maddie's best friend, but this girl IS was also really good friends with Maddie. She starts out with a weird story about Snapchat.
So basically, I added her. I found her account and know for a fact it was her account. But I added her. I wasn't expecting to be added back. It was just like a thoughtful thing to do. And I woke up yesterday morning and she had added me back.
Audio.
Okay.
And I thought that was weird because I was like, "There's no way.
Yeah.
There's physically no way.
Right.
Unless someone has her account, but like, why would they add me? They don't know if I'm a stranger or not. That's weird.
That is true.
So I just wanted to say that.
Okay. So
She said, okay.
Edith gifted 1 Speculation Station membership. I really appreciate that. That was so sweet of you. Thank you for the support. That went to Binks, 1931. I like that name. Binks, I'm going to come pick you up on the crazy train. Make sure you don't have any hot coffee. It will spill. We're on the way to arrest Jen Soto. Thank you so much, Edith. That was so very sweet. Thank you for the support.
I just have Snapchat, but she says, I found Maddie's account and she had added her at some point. I don't know when she added Maddie, as a friend. She said, I know for a fact that it was her account. So somehow she knew it really was Maddie's account. And she goes, I woke up yesterday morning and Maddie had added her back. And she goes, that's weird. Whoever this person is basically that added me back, I don't know. They don't know if I'm a stranger or not, but she added me back and she was like, there's no way, physically no way. Because mind you, this is March 12th. So on March 11th, who was on Maddie's Snapchat adding back people who had added Maddie? Well, the cop.
That's interesting. But again, I would think that it could be Jen because they had to fuss at Jen about being on Maddie's stuff because they thought that it could be Maddie. I don't know if y'all remember that. I'll drop the link if anybody wants to come up.
Cops at that point had possession of Maddie's phone, so it could have just been an investigative technique. If people were adding Maddie, perhaps that's something they do. Maybe, if she really did add the correct Snapchat account and someone added her back, who was doing that on Maddie's phone? I can only assume the authorities, but he didn't confirm or deny that.
Maddie had a birthday party.
Yes.
A couple weekends. Did you go to that party?
No, it was a family party.
Okay. Do you know if any of her friends went to that party? Because I think some of her friends were invited.
They were?
I think so.
I don't know. Might have been like family friends maybe. But I don't think a lot of her friends were invited.
Tahara, this would have been after he was arrested and after they found Maddie's body. Jeannie B said, I think Jen Soto gave us a motive for what happened. If Madeline Soto was with child, she did not want Stephen and Madeline to be joined together or leave her. It's a possibility. Cara said that just because she was wearing baggy clothes doesn't mean that she was with child, by the way, earlier. And no, it doesn't. She could have just started wearing baggy clothes. When I was a teenager, I always wore baggy clothes. I don't think if she was with child, she would have been showing by then enough anyway. Not anything like Naziah was. So it could be irrelevant, not important information. The trial date, the first one for the CSAM is set for February 12th, although I feel like it's going to be pushed back. The homicide trial is September of 2020, this September.
I was close to in her actual friend group area.
Who was her friend?
Hey, Jen,
what's her close friend group?
I know I forgot her last name, but.
Does she go to school here?
Mm-hmm.
What grade is she in?
7th, and I had first period with her. What did I think about that? Savannah.
Plunder. True crime
Okay.
audio.
Williams, I know Williams.
I'm so sorry, Mary.
And those are her close friends?
Mm-hmm. Those are the ones that I know of. The other ones I don't really talk to, so I don't really know.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah.
Would you consider these three like her best friends?
Yeah.
Look at that. At least she was having fun.
Yeah.
Okay. How often would you talk to Maddie?
Almost every day.
Mm-hmm. Tell me a little bit about her.
It was like more funny because we were both very, very chaotic people as personality wise. So when we would mix, it would just be pure chaos. And it was always really fun with her.
Mm-hmm.
It was like she would always make jokes and it'd be really funny to laugh at. I remember on her birthday, the dean announced her. She was like, "Happy birthday, Maddie!" And then everybody was like, "Oh my God, happy birthday!" And I'm gonna go hug her. I said like, "Happy birthday!" And the first thing she did when I hugged her, she's like, "Oh my God, who is this?" And I say like that to her. She had like this funny way of talking.
Uh-huh.
I remember a lot of the time that I was the one that, you know, when middle school girls were really crushes, like, they're like, "Go take my crush with me." I was always the one for that because I had a class with them. And apparently we're friends. I did not know that before she said that. But anyway, yeah, there was funny moments that she always had where she had a blanket, she put it over her backpack, and then she'd bounce around the backpack and her backpack was low.
Mm-hmm.
And then this guy called her a turtle when it was supposed to be like making.
That's sweet. I'm glad to hear that they had fun. The dean announced her birthday over the intercom. She's talking about bouncing the book bag up and down, and it looks like a turtle. I mean, it sounds like she was very much a child. And I'm glad she had those moments where she didn't have to be a mature adult, pretty much, unfortunately.
With the plastic surgery on the butt. But like, she was just a very funny person. Like, she never showed any signs of anything.
Okay.
So no one really expected it. She was very funny. She was very genuine. She was a person that if you were sad or depressed, or I was really sad one day, and she was like, as soon as I saw her, she like changed the conversation from me being depressed to something like really happy about myself.
Mm-hmm.
And then
That's good.
if you were feeling insecure about yourself, she'd like be like, "Why are you insecure? Like, you're beautiful," and like compliment you over and over again. It's really nice.
Did she ever talk about having any boyfriends or anything like that?
She had a crush.
On her?
Boyfriends. Oh
True
no,
crime
she did
audio.
date a dude, but it wasn't last. Like, I don't even, like, he's weird. No one talks about him. He doesn't.
When was this?
It's like last year.
Oh, okay.
I don't know who she's dated since then. Really, I'm not huge when I see my friends with their relationship.
Mm-hmm.
But I know she had a crush on the dude.
Mm-hmm.
So there's that. That's all I know about that situation.
Gotcha. You don't happen to know the phone numbers to any of these young ladies, do you?
No, I do not. I mean, I have them on my watch, but my mom puts them on there.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't really have their phone numbers at all.
Okay.
Now, the investigator does verify that this girl did not go to Maddie's birthday party. And she sounds so cute. She goes, "I don't think a lot of her friends were invited." And the investigator says some of her friends were there. And she's like, "Wait, what?" You know, she sounds surprised, as if she wasn't.
That is sweet. I mean, these are sweet audios of sweet children that are dealing with a lifelong scar that they're going to have now because of what this monster did. It really upsets me. Again, this is Plunder True Crime. They're linked in the description box and the chat box.
Invited. I don't know if she was or not. And they go over a few of Maddie's best friends' names. I will probably just mute those out for YouTube. And she does confirm, yeah, those are Maddie's 3 best friends. But this girl, IS, talked to Maddie almost every day. And she's just, again, so sweet. She says, "We were both very chaotic people in terms of like personalities, pure chaos. The dean had recently announced Maddie's birthday, so it must have been just that prior Thursday. And everybody was hugging Maddie, and Maddie was saying something cute like, 'Oh my God, who is this?'" She had like this funny way of talking. That's the way IS described Maddie.
Yep.
So she talks about Maddie's crush. In fact, both girls are going to mention Maddie's crush. And this girl is going to say, "I didn't know that." She's talking about crushes and funny moments. Both of the girls their voices are a little bit softer. So I boosted it all the way up as I could. Especially the second girl is really, really soft. And as usual, the recording device is away from her. But she kind of talked about Maddie wore her backpack down low. She put a blanket over her backpack, and some guy called Maddie a turtle. But she overall was saying, Maddie never really showed any signs of whatever was happening, so no one expected it. That's what this girl says. She talks about what a kind.
Anders said, but she didn't invite so many friends from the school and was disappointed. And that's what I was thinking. She was really disappointed that more people didn't show up, but she didn't invite very many people, which is weird. This kind of stuff would never cross my mind. Leaving is best and only. Are you doing okay, Mary? Yeah, Anders said disappointed when they didn't show up. Right. Chaz said, "Oh yeah, I watched this on Plunder. Yeah, she's really awesome. I really like Plunder. She's sweet."
Kind heart Maddie was, how concerned she was for others. So this girl here said she was really sad one day and Maddie made her feel happier. And, if someone was feeling down on themselves or depressed, and Maddie would just say, she would compliment you over and over again, like, oh, why are you feeling so bad? You're great. Now, this girl says, I believe she says she did date a dude. It's kind of hard to hear. At first I was like, is she saying she didn't date a dude? It sounds like she said she did date a dude maybe the previous year. She talked about some weird guy in the previous year, and there's that. There was a crush on a dude. So she had a crush. She did date a dude, like he's weird. No one talks about him. So of course the investigators dig into that a little bit more, but I think she's just talking about one of their classmates. She said, I don't know who she's dated since then. I know she had a crush on a dude. So the investigators asking IS about phone numbers, and she says she does have some phone numbers when her mom puts them on her watch. She does talk about an instance. I don't know if it was pretty recent to this interview prior to Maddie's disappearance, but Maddie was crying in the bathroom of a teacher.
All right, so Maddie hasn't talked to you about something that may be going on in her life recently or anything like that?
There was this time where she was crying in the bathroom over a teacher, but now I think about it, I don't know if it was really about the teacher or the teacher just sat on top of it, like a cherry on top. But I remember I walked out of my classroom, like our classrooms were like this. So when I walked out, I could see her classroom. And her classroom, she was like right there getting yelled at by the teacher for really no reason. And she was on the verge of tears, and she went to the bathroom, and I came out to like wash my hands, and she came in like literally bawling her eyes off, like, are you okay? She said, no, like school's like really stressing me out and stuff. And I told her like, hey, let me try like staying home. And she said, my mom doesn't want me to stay home. She never lets me stay home.
I wonder why she was crying in the bathroom. Chaz, I don't think dude was Stephen Stearns. I think it was the one that they were talking about broke another kid's elbow and possibly went to a different school, or the one that she was texting that wouldn't text her back. I think one of those two would be the crush. Nanny Go and Smoky Mountain Mermaid, thank you all for coming in. I appreciate you being here.
And I said, oh, like at least like do what normal children do, pretend to be sick or something. And she was like, oh yeah, and then I didn't see her for like a week after that.
She said, do what normal children do, just pretend to be sick.
So
Gotcha.
She said there was this time she was crying and she was getting yelled at by the teacher, is what she sounds like she's saying. Maddie was bawling her eyes out. But when IS, I guess, inquired, tried to ask Maddie what was going on, Maddie would just say, school is stressing me out. Now, we know a lot more was stressing Maddie out, but that was probably an easy go-to just say, school's stressing me out, without spilling the beans about what she was really suffering. Maddie told this friend, my mom doesn't want me to stay home. She doesn't let me stay home. So her friend said, well, just do what normal children do. Pretend to be sick or something. That's when IS says, I didn't see her for like a week after that. So these girls talked every day, and IS is, trying to comfort her friend in the way a child can comfort another friend. Jennifer Soto allegedly didn't want Maddie staying home from school, and Maddie's all, stressed out, so much going on with this little girl, and her mom doesn't let her stay home. So her friend says, look, just pretend to be sick. So obviously.
I wonder, now we've heard about instances where Maddie wasn't in school, but I wonder why Jen wouldn't let Maddie stay home. Like, I mean, obviously you can't let your kids stay home all the time, but occasionally she could have. And I wonder why she was very strict about not letting her stay at the house other than she needs to be at school. Like, did she not want her around? Was she concerned about Stefan being there during the day and she wanted to be alone with Stefan without Maddie there because she was jealous? Like, that's kind of things that crossed my mind when I heard that. Hey, Rose Thorne, I think it was Jen. I have a couple comments to read. Hey, Meandering. School is stressing me out. Translated is abuse stressing me out. Sometimes it can be just school. Sometimes it is other things. Unfortunately, we know for a fact with Maddie it was. Carrie B said, I could see Stephen Stearns telling Maddie, just tell your friends I'm some gamer kid you have a crush on. That way he can chat with her and keep tabs on her on the down low. It's definitely a possible speculation. Anders said she's victim blaming. She almost said it was Maddie's own fault being kidnapped in the church parking lot. Yeah, Jen Soto does a lot of victim blaming. Our babies shouldn't have to deal with adult problems at all, Janet. Sorry, Lori said maybe her grandma didn't want a lot of kids in her house. That's possible, but I'm thinking about staying at home with Jen. You know what I mean? You think it's that she was jealous and she just wanted Stefan to herself during the day when Maddie was at school? I think it's a possibility.
Obviously, Maddie must have taken her advice, and she didn't see her for a week after that. Now, some other friend, I remember a young friend, and I want to look back at all the interviews of Maddie's friends that I've done and link to them below. I want to try and keep things kind of straight because I know I had not heard these before. So with the girl talking about sickness and all that, the officer starts to probe. He asked, the week leading up to everything, did Maddie talk to you about feeling ill or sick? I think he's going somewhere with this. Now, the friend immediately says she doesn't think, I guess, Maddie talked to her about being sick or something, but she said, I did notice that she was wearing more baggy clothes than usual. But this girl says, I didn't think anything of it. I have no idea why. Well, she loves hoodies. You know, a lot of us love hoodies. But she said Maddie was wearing more longer hoodies. And she immediately goes into talk about Maddie's obvious change in type of clothing. I mean, many of us women, we know we've been through things. If there's a pregnancy, you're trying to hide, you know, the first thing you might try and do, especially as a young person, is start wearing, you know, clothes that are just baggier, that women know, you know, you can hide longer if you're gaining weight.
Yeah, you can. When I was pregnant, I wore a lot of hoodies. But in my first pregnancy, I felt fat. In my second and third, I was in the swimming pool with a dang bikini on, like 9 months pregnant. Did not care. I was pregnant and proud. But for her, she could have been trying to hide a pregnancy. It's very possible. It's also another thought that comes to mind is that if Stefan was coming around and she knew Stefan was coming around, I think it's like Cara said, trying to wear baggy clothes as to not show her figure as much. And that would tell me again that she possibly fought back that night. And maybe that's why she's not alive. I think it could be a number of reasons. I think those two would be at the top of my list, either trying to hide a pregnancy or trying to wear baggy clothes so not to show her figure in hopes of Stefan leaving her the hell alone. Hio said there's 77 likes and 145 in chat. Please hit the thumbs up, and I would appreciate it if y'all would do that. That would be so very nice of y'all. It would help us get into the algorithm. Hio gifted 5 Speculation Station memberships. Those went to In the Garden. My kids play that song, Tiptoe Through the Garden. They creep me out with it. Queen Up Here, I like that. Pretty Insane, I like that. Tamara got one. Somebody in the top. Oh, Eclipse 3 was gifted. I'm going to come pick y'all up on the crazy train. Thank y'all. Thank you, Hio, for gifting the memberships. Welcome to Speculation Station. I'm going off the rails on a crazy train. Thank you so much, my love. That was so very sweet and supportive of you. I appreciate that.
or you're pregnant, and then you can get away with baggier clothes.
Did leading up into, I don't know if it was last Monday or the Monday before, when all this happened.
Oh, that was the Monday before last Monday.
Right. Okay. So leading up to that, did Maddie talk to you about if she was feeling ill or sick or anything like that?
No, but I did notice that she was wearing more baggy
True
clothes than
crime
usual. Like, usually,
audio.
I don't know if this is weird or anything. I didn't notice that. I'm a hairstyle person. But usually she'd wear hoodies that were baggy, but not really that baggy. And then I noticed she started wearing more baggy clothes and more longer hoodies.
Gotcha. Any idea why?
I didn't think any of it. I was like, well, she loves hoodies, so she's probably just wearing oversized hoodies.
Look at the elf alien.
I remember my friends did tell me, like, she did talk about her friend, like her stepdad, but it was only like good things. It was never, oh, I don't want to go home or anything, or like anything like that. It was always compliments for her stepdad. And as someone with a stepdad, I never thought anything of it. So.
Gotcha. Okay. Right.
Cara just gifted 10 Speculation Station memberships. I really appreciate that. Y'all are being so supportive, shaking out the bushes. Thank you. Thank you so much for that. Those went to, it was Becky, or it's so Becky, Ladybug, Jamie, another Cara, Girl, Allie, Jeff, AK, and CJ and Juanita. I think I got everybody. Thank you so much for that. Cara, welcome to Speculation Station, y'all. I'll come pick y'all up on the crazy train going to arrest Jen Soto. Thank you so much. That was so very sweet of you, Cara. I really appreciate the support. Thank you, everybody. Y'all are being so sweet and supportive today. Again, we're listening to Plunder True Crime. She's at the top of the chat box and in the description box. Please give her a like and subscribe. Hey, Flora W.
Yeah. All right, Miss. I love that name, by the way.
Thank you so much.
I do too.
Thank you so much for your time. And I guess they can let you go back to class or whatever.
I was at London.
At
I finished my food already, so I'm good.
All right. Well, thank you so much. Thank you. All right. We're going to conclude that at 12:36 p.m.
Now, this girl didn't directly bring up the pregnancy word, and the investigator didn't say it either, but I feel like I know where he was going when he's asking that. And it's very astute of this young friend to notice Maddie's been wearing baggier clothes.
Now, I've noticed some things as far as what she's saying. He was going somewhere with those questions, asking about if she had been sick, if there had been anything going on. They've asked several times in several interviews about if she was sick, and it's been interviews after they found her body, after the autopsy would have been performed. They're asking if Maddie was showing signs of sickness. There's a couple other interviews or questions they ask people that make me also think, is he asking that because he's trying to figure out if Madeline was showing signs of being pregnant? And if he was, which we won't know till trial, but if he was, that would mean that Madeline was indeed pregnant per her autopsy. So we're going to find out. But I do find it interesting that this officer is asking these questions because remember, it's March 12th. They found her body on March 1st. So why are they asking questions like that? Is it possible that she's pregnant? Wolf said, this reminds me of Gregory Villebrin affair years ago in France of the whodunit. Genre or near, I can't say that word. Long story short, got a lot of media attention, but couple family let loose. Oh no. That sucks. Yep, I didn't even believe the Preggers thing until I went back over with a fine-tooth comb for details, and I'm convinced now. I mean, like I said, there's been a couple of times that the detectives asked stuff after they found the body, and I'm like, okay, you think she's pregnant. Or is he trying to see if she thought that she was pregnant and that's the motive? So, I mean, I don't know. Maybe she was kidding Steppenstearns on she was pregnant, so Steppenstearns would leave her alone. It's possible. Hey, Teresa, my love. Good to see you. Got here right when you were supposed to be here.
But she didn't know why. She goes right from talk of longer hoodies, baggier clothes, right into talking about Stephen Stearns. The little girl says, she did talk about her stepdad, but it was always good things. It was always compliments for her stepdad. Never thought anything of it. So that was March 12th. This interview began around 12:27 p.m. And then technically by 12:39, even earlier than 12:39, the interview is over. Now, they have a description of it slightly in one of these documents. It talks about March 12th, Detective Smallwood and I, it must be Mark Morris, I assume, responded to Hunters Creek Middle School to interview classmates of Madeline. This is when the next interview actually starts. So that's how it shows you how quickly, as soon as the one is over, just a few minutes later at 12:29 is when the next interview starts. So this girl, we're calling her SS.
The time is 12:39 p.m. It is March 12th, 2024. The time is 12:39 p.m., which I just said. We are at Hunters Creek Middle School. It's myself, Detective Morris, Detective Smallwood, and this is in reference to case number 24001896. So your first name again is?
Audio.
How you spell that? Okay, and what's your last name? And what's your birthday? Okay, do you have a phone number? And what is your address?
Look at this creep. I mean, he actually, like, I don't know if that's a filter going on there. Look at his eyes. Like, he's almost got puppy dog eyes, like it's a filter. If you zoom in real close, I think there is a filter on the phone, but I don't know. And he looks so creepy. Like, he actually, I mean, the way he's dressed and he looks in that picture, he actually looks like he could be possibly a decent person. And it's scary. He looks a little feminine in the eyes. But other than that, he's not that creepy little elf dude we just saw. Nessa says she stopped taking her meds and was feeling better. That the argument may have been about her not wanting to take meds by Stephen and needed money. And he needed money that he needed from the CP. It's possible. If he's trying to put her to sleep so he can abuse her, if she was abused most of the time while she was asleep or drugged, then yeah, I could definitely see that. Oh my goodness. Overprotected. That is crazy. It happens though when you have teenagers. Ginger snaps. He is creepy. He is, isn't he? Hey Pamela, it's good to see you. And then lastly, real quick, Carrie B said all three of them were freaking out before the visit. Jim was at work, Stephen was at home, Madeline was at her grandma's. I fully believe they at least thought she was with child, and that was the motive. I think so too. I think it's very possible. Annette says, my mom always told me the devil has different disguises, and he absolutely does.
Okay. What grade are you in? Eighth. All right. So you being in the 8th grade, I don't think I have to question you to see if you know what the difference is between a truth and a lie. Do you know the difference between a truth and a lie?
Yeah.
Okay. So if I would say this computer is orange, would that be true or a lie?
It's a lie.
Okay. If I said this little figurine right here is a lion, is that truth or lie?
True.
Okay, perfect. All right. So during our conversation, you swear to tell me the truth and nothing but the truth to the best of your knowledge, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
All right, perfect. So like I said, we are here to talk about Maddie. Okay. Did you have any classes with her?
No, but I had band, and when I walked to band, I had chorus and she had chorus, and we passed by each other.
Okay. How would you describe your friendship with Maddie?
Not that close, but I was friends with a lot of people in her friend group.
Mm-hmm.
So when we heard about the news, it's I went to comfort her friends.
Plunder.
Mm-hmm.
True crime
Imagine your
audio.
best friend dying. That's crazy. But yeah.
Who would you consider Maddie's best friends here? Okay. Do you happen to have phone numbers for?
Do you mind?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, so this is the second audio. This is from Plunder True Crime. She is linked at the top of the comment section and in the description box. I really appreciate her getting this. When I get my FOIA back with these, I will put them out on my channel. Dr. Vana said, I'm tempted to come up for a few minutes. I'm early picking up my daughter at Penn State. You can come up if you want to talk about it. Hey, JPL. I will. Hey, Natasha, I'll drop the link for you, Miss Vana, if you want to come up.
It's off. I'm sorry.
That's okay. And you're not supposed to have phones in school, right? Nowadays?
Yeah.
How's your day going so far?
Normal day. Just waiting for the spring break to come.
Next week, right?
Yeah.
Hey, Vicky.
Who's, do you know, hangs out with that same friend group?
I think I heard her name, but I don't have her number.
You know her last name or no?
I don't know.
Okay.
So Sage's
Okay.
and
Hey, Fred Field. Fred Field said, I don't know how Jen and Stephen thought they could get away with the homicide. The investigators would have been on them like flies on poo-poo, right? Hey, Amanda Page. I'll never understand why these people think they can get away with the homicide. And again, like I've said yesterday, even with the Naziah Harris case as well, why not just go do the time for the third degree sexual offender type thing? Like, why do you got to kill them? They're going to find out regardless. Why not take that person's life, go do the time, because you would be out. I mean, it might be 25, 30 years and you'd have to register for a sex offender, but you're not looking at the death penalty. Like, why do you got to kill these children? Damn, haven't you done enough? Hey, Shaboogie.
Got it. All right. But you said you're not very close with, or you weren't very close with Maddie?
no,
No.
but I knew about her.
Did you ever talk to her like on a daily basis, or did you only talk to her every once in a while?
Once in a while, I actually had a good conversation with her the last day she came to school on Friday.
What was that conversation about?
It was about a boy that she really liked.
Who was that?
I don't know his last name.
What did she say about that?
That he we were at the student staff game, and
True
the rest of
crime
the time she was just looking for him, like where's she at, and she just really wanted to talk to him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Anything else? Did you guys talk about anything else?
That makes me sad that she really liked this boy. I don't know if it's the one that wouldn't text her back, but maybe she was getting attention from a boy that was her own age and really enjoyed the normal attention that she was getting from him, and, talking to somebody her own age. And again, maybe she told Stephen, this has to stop. It's got to stop. I'm done. It's over. Like, stop. And something happened. I mean, it makes me go down that road a little bit more. Never commit a capital crime to hide a felony. Right. Ginger Snaps. What a great way to put it. Never commit a capital crime to hide a felony. Like, what are you even doing? Just answer for the felony. Lord have mercy. So hard to see, says Jen is the one who was bipolar, acting wacky because meds were off, fighting with Maddie and scared of the Woody Allen situation. Yep. Okay, Tahara, I hope you have a good day, love.
No. She was really happy, you wouldn't know that was happening behind the scenes.
Mm-hmm.
She it never showed.
Gotcha. All right. Who would you say, other than you said are her close friends?
Yeah.
Any idea? Somebody said maybe on vacation or something. Do you know? Are you friends with them?
I have her number, and I got more friends with her since Madeline's death. They come for her, then we actually had a lot of likes and just became friends.
Gotcha.
Hey, Dawn.
Okay. All right.
Hey,
Do you know, is there anything you can tell me about Maddie that maybe somebody else doesn't know?
I got a lot of information.
Stoic said, hey, everyone, quick question. Have they interviewed the boy she had a crush on? They absolutely should, in my opinion. I haven't heard about that, but they absolutely should, because they need to know what she suggested to him, like, if they talked in private when she was alone, like, at home or whatever after school, if she suggested things to him that were not appropriate for her age range, like things that she shouldn't have known about, like the things she drew in her notebook and things like that, it would be very prevalent information for them to interview him. I haven't heard about them interviewing him. I certainly hope they would, because they absolutely need to talk to him. And that was a great question. Flora, real quick, says, I can't get over all the BS about arbitrary definition being grounds for no death penalty. Oh, they're trying everything. They are trying everything. Hio messaged me and said it's actually 32 documents, not including the 5 I already read trying to get the death penalty off the table. All of these documents typed up and filed to get the death penalty off the table. Lastly, real quick, Vicky says, right here, this girl has info she immediately forgot about after saying what she's about to say. Anyone else catch this? I did not, but I'll back it up a second. Let's see. All right, let's try to listen.
For him, like, where she at, and she just really wanted to talk to him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Anything else? Did you guys talk about anything else?
No. She was, like, really happy. Like, you wouldn't know that was happening behind the scenes.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she, like, it never showed.
Gotcha. All right. Who would you say, other than you said are her close friends?
Yeah.
Any idea? Somebody said maybe on vacation or something. Do you know? Are you friends with them?
I have her number, and I got more friends with her since Madeline's death. Like, they come for her, then we actually have, like, a lot of other likes. Just became friends.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. Do you know, is there anything you can tell me about Maddie that maybe somebody else doesn't know?
I got a lot of information from Midge, so that's probably why
What kind of information did you get from
that. I'm sorry, I don't remember a lot, but, like,
That's okay.
at her birthday party, her mom didn't come, and it was, like, I believe her dad was there. I don't know, but, like, she was really, like, mad, and, like, she wanted her mom there, and that's, like.
Did you say who else was at her birthday party?
I don't know who was at the birthday party, but I knew she was there. Yes, she was.
Hey, it's me.
And that was, like, the last day that she saw her as well.
Okay.
It's me. I apologize. I didn't want to tell y'all this, but Basil has the bunny sniffles, so I've been paying close attention to him. He appears to be doing better over the past 2 days, but I have an antibiotic I have to put, like, under his eyes, so I was doing that. I looked away for a minute. I apologize about that. Angie, good to see you. So it's me, said, hey y'all, Jen Soto easily manipulated. The more I hear, the more I think she may be part, if not creator, of the manipulation. That's a hard one, because Stephen Stearns is definitely a manipulator. But it appears that Jen is a manipulator as well. So it's hard to tell which one of them is actually in charge behind the scenes. So, I think that Jen Soto is definitely a different person behind closed doors, and I think Stephen is too. It's hard to tell which one is actually in charge. He had the bunny sniffles. You got to be real careful with rabbits because they're animals of prey, so that you won't know that they're, like, really bad sick until they're, like, about to die. So I saw that his nose was running and his eyes were running. I went to Tractor Supply and told them, and they gave me this. It's called terramycin. It's like clindamycin and things. It's just an antibiotic, and I have to rub it under his eyes. So I was doing that real quick. I've done it twice a day. This is the 3rd day, and he's doing a lot better. His eyes aren't running anymore or anything. So I had to, he's like my child. She does not love her mother. Look at the pictures, says Liddy, and it's good to see you. And then lastly, real quick, Vicky, it could be allergies, but I don't think so. I was real concerned. He's like my child. Like, I would die if something happened to him. So I went ahead and got that. Nessa said, my question is, why didn't Maddie feel safe to tell her mother unless her mother knew? Because of how her mother is. You remember Jen Soto talking about she goes to the grocery store and people are trying to tell her they're so sorry about what happened and she can't deal with their emotions, you know? Yeah, he's everybody's child now. He sure is, so nothing can happen to him. Dawn said, Jen is not pretending to be bipolar. She's on disability for it, and she changes her medicine constantly because he's manipulating her. I bet she hasn't changed her meds since he left. And it's possible. I definitely think she has bipolar, and I have no doubt about that. My issue is who's actually in control in the relationship. Who's manipulating who? I know he's manipulating her, but does she manipulate him back as well? So we're going to get back to this. This is Plunder True Crime. She's linked in the comment box and in the description box. Please give her a like and subscribe.
All right. All right. Well, thank you so much for talking with us. I guess they can let you go back to class. So time is 12:45 p.m.
And she's talking about not having any classes with Maddie and would see her in passing at school. But she was friends with some of Madeline's friends group, and that's how they knew her. What's interesting about this very short interview is that SS talked about the last time she spoke with Maddie was that Friday, February 23rd. They were talking about a boy that Madeline liked. His name starts with an M. This SS girl is going to say she got a lot of information from Maddie's closer friend, SE, Maddie's best friend. So what they've done here, I see, they've kind of conflated the description of these two girls in the same paragraph in a document. They talk about IS stating she was typically a happy person. Even if these little nuggets of information that everybody is giving might not seem like much on the surface, but now it's a year later and we put it all together in one big puzzle and it paints a bigger picture of what
It absolutely does. It absolutely, it paints the whole entire picture. And you got to have all these pieces and put them together to see it play out like a story. Ginger Snaps says it could be that Maddie didn't tell her mom to protect her because she's so unstable. And judging Madeline and the way it's portrayed of how mature she was, I mean, just even considering all the shit she was dealing with and having to cope with on a daily basis, I could definitely see that she doesn't tell her mom because she's already concerned with how unstable she already is. And she also could have told her, and maybe Jen didn't believe her. I've got two more comments to read real quick. So Hard to See said, Jim seems like the boss in the situation. She at least wants us to believe she's in control of the situation, not at all the mercy of a manipulation, in my opinion. Yeah. She wants us to think that she's in control. Hey, Mandalorian. Whether she was or not is questionable. I definitely think Stefan manipulated her, but at some point I think she started to manipulate him back, but I'm not sure. That's my thought. She's been on bipolar meds Maddie's entire life. Is that what you mean? Because Maddie spent every day at home. Jen thought she was protecting her by not letting her go to others' houses. So if Jen didn't know about the CSAM, yeah, she might have thought she was protecting her by not letting her go to others' houses. If she did know about the CSAM, then I think she wasn't letting her go places because she's scared she would tell somebody. If it was accepted in that household that Stefan and Maddie were together and they were in a relationship and they were in love and they were going to go get married one day, if Stefan had made Jen believe that, then that could have been why. Or if she didn't know why about the CSAM, then maybe she was trying to protect her. Foxy, I'm sorry about whatever you've got going on, honey. I didn't see the comment, but I saw where someone said that they were sorry, and I'm sorry as well for what you got going on, love. Good morning, Heather Wells. It's good to see you.
What was going on. So the SS interview, March 12th, 2024, a few minutes later, she's an 8th grader. She's very quiet. And she talks about, she did not have any classes with Maddie, but she had band and Maddie had chorus. So they would walk past each other. So again, she wasn't that close with Maddie, but she was friends with people in her friend group. And when she heard the news about what happened to Maddie, she reached out and she's comforting Maddie's friends. She talks about Maddie's best friend. She talks about it being, spring break the following week. And it just gives you first of all, to hear these little girls' voices so young,
Yes.
it really reminds you of how young Maddie was. She had just turned 13, and to be so put upon in the worst way.
Yep.
Maddie should have been going off for spring break the following week. She should have still been alive with all her friends. She should have been happy. This girl is basically just giving the cops information about different friends' phone numbers, but she talks about the last conversation she had with Maddie, and it was about a boy Maddie really liked. She said, "We were at the student staff game, and there was this boy, Maddie was really looking for him, and this..."
I'm so sorry, Foxy. I could not. I would be broken for weeks. I'm sorry you had to go through that, love. Dawn said she was terrified of being manic again. The sleep was what she believed was going to trigger it. She had just worked a split shift. And again, that could be true. I try to, be fair across the board. I've even got places written in the document where I'm like, to be fair, this is what they're trying to do, right? And to be fair, it's absolutely possible that Jim was worried about another manic episode and that she didn't know anything. But at the very least, it even if that's the case, I think she's guilty of not putting Madeline first, if nothing else. There's things she said that make me believe she's guilty of sin, but and I've even tried to pass it off as just her being odd, being on the spectrum, possibly Asperger's, which they consider now as being on the spectrum. There's just things that I can't make sense. You know what I mean? And I try to be equal across the board. But it's just things that I can't make sense. But the police haven't charged her. And from what I've heard, they're not charging her unless they're going to charge her after the trial. So, it seemed to me like those detectives that interviewed her on the video interview we have wanted to charge her with something. Whether they can make it stick with the DA is a different story. Dr. Vanna says Jim's calmness could be emotional disassociation. Disassociation, a common defense mechanism in trauma survivors. It could be. The police looked at all of her iCloud in July, and the police tell his dad that there's no evidence she knew, and that he was in it all on his own. Yes, he worked independently. They do say that. So, there's lots of reasons of why she acts the way she did, how she could not be involved. It bothers me because I really feel like she's involved. But, if they're not going to charge her, they obviously know more than we ever will. So it's what's stand up.
This girl also says Maddie was really happy. You wouldn't know all that was happening behind the scenes. She does say since Madeline's death, she's been comforting her other friend. And so the investigator is trying to say, is there anything you can tell me about Maddie, that you know yourself, not just through other people? But this girl is saying, I got a lot of info from Maddie's best friend. She's sorry she doesn't remember. She just knows that Maddie was mad because her mother didn't come to her birthday party and she wanted her mom there. And she says, I believe her dad was there, but Maddie's best friend was indeed there at the birthday party. And that was the last day she saw Maddie. So this interview.
Dawn, you said she had immunity because there was no evidence she knew and he was doing it all on his own. So if you're going to offer somebody immunity, though, it's like to say that if you admit to everything you knew, we won't charge you with this crime. So if they, in fact, thought that she didn't know anything, then there's no reason to offer her immunity. What information is she going to be able to give them that they don't already have? Now, again, because I like to be fair, immunity interview was April 10th. It's July when the police say that they've been through her phone line by line, thousands of hours, and they can say that Stephen worked independently. But if they're offering her immunity, I would think it's because they think she knows something. Hey, Lily Sunshine. Make sure you guys say, in my opinion, when you comment. Dawn said, but his dad sure did help him hide his crimes and knew before she was found that his computer was the source of a problem. Yeah, I agree with that. All right. Again, this is Plunder, linked at the chat box and the description box. Please give her a like and subscribe.
was short. It was over by 12:45 p.m. So it started around 12:39. That's the one. So it was only 6 minutes. So it really, really gives you insight. And the things that stuck with me today, I listened to these interviews several times and trying to just glean different tips. What stuck with me, what sticks with me, is her friend noticing Maddie's change in dress. Now, there's always a reason. It's not always just a phase, like I'm going from goth to a Barbie type girl. No, it was specifically her clothes got baggier. Her hoodies got baggier, her hoodies got longer. Now that's just one more thing in my mind that leads me to believe Stefan potentially had impregnated Maddie. And maybe once we get more and more information, we will be able to confirm that somehow. Of course, no authorities have ever confirmed that, but you can tell with different interviews, we're learning more tidbits about it being a possibility. When they were asking Jennifer Soto about pregnancy tests, and when her other friend talked about her menstrual cycle being late, there's a line of questioning. This question keeps coming up, and it just makes me so sad. And it even makes me think with Maddie's crush on this boy and how she was really, really looking for him that Friday. Part of my mind wonders, could that have been a way to even try and take the blame off of Stefan? I'm thinking in this line of thinking, you know how Maddie had those mom and dad pregnancy coins or whatever kind of coins they were, and she was texting Stefan, we need these, decision, new.
And it's redacted under those coins. We see a picture of the coins and that text, we need to get these, and then it's heavily redacted underneath. And then you have the detective was asking her friend about her being sick at school, some of the way she was acting. They talked to Sage about, did she actually miss her period? Did she ever start her period? They talk about the pregnancy test. So again, I mean, by the time some of these interviews take place, they would definitely know if she was with child or not. So it makes me think she was with child. Or again, to be fair, because I try to be fair across the board, they could be asking because they think it's the possible motive that she indeed started her period, but everybody was scared and thought she was pregnant. So therefore he did what he did. It's one of the two. Those are the only two that makes sense to me. I mean, if you guys can think of anything else, please let me know. That's the only things I could logically come up with. Hey, Nicole. Nicole said Jen had derivative immunity, not full blanket immunity. Yeah, it was derivative. Foxy said, I could see Stanky blowing smoke up Janky's butt about how she's such a great mom, etc., to trick her into a false sense of security. Absolutely. And she would have fallen for it because she had low self-esteem. She liked the attention. She liked the affection. And Stefan did see her as an easy target. I can say that definitively at the end of the day. He saw her as an easy target and he manipulated the crap out of her. I just don't know if she started manipulating him back. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and play this. I'll highlight your comments because they're good.
New parent decision coins. Now, of course, that might not have been because of a real child, or maybe, Maddie wasn't with child, but it makes me think if she was in trouble and it's all Stefan's fault, was she seeking another boy to, let's say, blame it on? Did Stefan encourage her? Oh yeah, go have a crush so I can blame that boy for getting you in trouble. Of course, it wouldn't last. This is where my mind is going. Obviously, at some point, if Maddie really was in that way, like they say, in the family way, ultimately, it would have come out. It would have come out who the real biological father was. And if that was Stefan, of course, because of all those horrible years of misuse that he inflicted upon that baby, then of course he would have been in trouble. And so my mind only goes down these routes to try and figure out what happened that Saturday to freak him out so much and for Maddie to be upset so much. Why was she wearing baggier clothes? Certain things her friends noticed. What happened in February to her menstrual cycle?
Liddy said he did not answer her messages, right? From what I understand, her crush did not answer her messages from what I've heard.
What was going on? And did all this big perfect storm, confluence of everything going wrong, is that what led to the events of Sunday night? Something had to lead there. And that's what I keep wondering. I will keep digging. I feel like there's so much we don't have. And oh boy, there's so many motions coming through over on the Osceola Clerk Court websites. I mean, Stefan is objecting to the use of follow the law questions to rehabilitate or qualify jurors. There's a motion to prohibit death as a possible penalty. It's this long list of stuff that's just coming in because Stefan is really fighting that worst penalty that the state, of course, wants to inflict upon him for what he did to this girl. And just hearing these little girls' voices, it did something to me because it really just shows you how young a 13-year-old is. And you think of Maddie dealing with all this horrible treatment from Stefan since the age of 8 or 7 or even 6, however old she was when he really first came into her life, putting up with that for years and years and years. So much pressure upon her. No wonder she couldn't function correctly in school and, was pretending to be sick potentially, like her friend advised her, just to get away from it all. I'm grateful she had certain joys in life, like these beautiful little friends. Chorus, she seemed to love Chorus. I think of the times that took her away, just from all the horrible things she was suffering. But if she really was pregnant, that is something that you can only be in denial about for so long. And was it like a volcano about to blow? And Stefan knew he was about to be found out. That is what's happened in other cases. I'm closely watching different cases and you see the same pattern. Sometimes when a person, their deeds are about to be found out, that's when they end up committing murder. It's just very sad to me. It's very, very.
I'll never understand that because I don't understand why you're going to commit murder, a capital felony, just to cover up a felony.
Very sad. Stefan and his lawyer are fighting tooth and nail. It's just sad. But for now, I wanted to give you guys these 2 interviews with Maddie's little friends to see a few more pieces in the puzzle, and we'll see if we get any more. The way it's given, it's just kind of like, oh, here you go, and it's kind of haphazard in a way, but I'm grateful to get them, and I kind of want to try and keep them organized, have them on YouTube, have them on Patreon, and go from there. Let's close with Revelation 12:11. And they overcame and conquered him because of the blood of the Lamb and because of the word of their testimony, for they did not love their life and renounce their faith, even when faced with death. Thank you so much for watching this update. Stay tuned because I still want to make a video about Chase Leonard and his interviews and any others I'm missing, even as I cover other cases, because we will see what happens with Stefan Stern cases this year and how many more interviews there are as all these.
Allie, I'm looking for that. I've requested it and they've told me no. I'm gonna try to go about it a different way and see if I can get something, Allie X, on that. Fred said, I always feel the term, quote, sleeping with, unquote, a bit weird in these types of cases. If they were actually, quote, sleeping, the cases would not exist. No doubt.
These depositions get scheduled. Thank you so much for watching. Take care.
So that was Plunder. Again, Plunder True Crime. I appreciate her getting those interviews. Oh, crap. I left my phone. Well, I can't. Okay. I appreciate her getting those interviews. And I have FOIA requested those interviews as well. Hopefully, I will have them soon. I will put them out when I get them out. I have this motion that we pulled this morning and thought it would be a good one to go over. Now, I'm not going to go over the whole thing. I have been through and highlighted a few things I want to talk to you about, but I am going to try to pull it up so you guys can watch it while I'm going through it. This is going to be from As the Gavel Drops Discord. Please give them a like and subscribe. They are linked in the description box below. I'm going to try to keep y'all on the same page. I can't really show you guys where I'm at because I don't know how to highlight it. But I'm going to flip through and read some parts that made me emotionally charged, if I do say so myself. So this is going to be a motion to exclude evidence or argument designed to create sympathy for the deceased or vilify Mr. Stearns. Okay, excuse me, y'all. Let me put this trigger warning up because I'm about to let loose because bless their little hearts. Bless their little hearts. This man needs to be vilified, and we need sympathy for the deceased. What he did was absolutely disgusting. He tortured this child for years. I can only imagine the torment, fear, and horror she felt knowing that at night she was going to have to go do this or whatever if she was awake and coherent during this time. Even if at the end he had convinced her that they were in a relationship, okay, in the beginning it wasn't like that. You mean to tell me, I read the documents, okay? I read where he told her to hold this in your mouth for 3 seconds or I won't let you watch cartoons and I won't let you play with my phone. And we don't need to create sympathy for the deceased or vilify Mr. Stearns because of that. Are you fucking kidding me right now? Are we in a parallel universe? Excuse the fuck out of me? Excuse me? No. So I have some things highlighted I'm going to talk to y'all about. First, I'm going to go down here where it says 1, 2, and 3. So 1, Mr. Stearns is charged by indictment filed on April 24th, 2024 with first-degree murder. The state filed notice to seek the death penalty June 7th of 2024. Florida law has consistently held that evidence designed to create sympathy for the deceased is inadmissible in the guilt or innocent phase. This man is guilty, and we do need to have sympathy for the deceased. Why are you trying to block my sympathy for this child and what she went through? And we're going to talk about, to be fair, there's a couple of things. I understand why they're doing it, but it still pisses me off because you need to create sympathy in the eyes of the juror, in my opinion, so they understand what this child went through. I understand that these are his lawyers. I understand that they're trying to get the death penalty off the table, but there needs to be sympathy for this child and what she went through for so many years. The next part I have highlighted starts here. This type of evidence, along with evidence designed to vilify the defendant, is offered only to inflame the passions and emotions of the jury and encourage a jury to make findings and decisions based on emotions rather than logical evaluation of evidence presented at trial. So that's why they're doing it, okay? But I don't understand how you could hear this case and not be emotionally charged. How do you hear what he's done to this child and not get emotionally charged? Such evidence is not relevant to any issue in the guilt or innocence phase. I'll be goddamned. Yes, the fuck it is. It is relevant to think about what he was doing to this child, how she suffered, regardless of whether she thought they were in a relationship. If she thought they were in a relationship, that's suffering too. What do you mean? It is virtually always highly inflammatory and prejudicial, outweighing any possible probative value it may have. It is highly inflammatory because he raped this child from 6 years old throughout her life until she died. And prejudicial because this man, what he did, it's a very prejudicial thing he did. I'm at number 4 now. Likewise, the admission of evidence concerning the deceased or the circumstances of the offense is inadmissible under Florida law at the penalty phase or sentencing phase. Evidence concerning the deceased and the circumstances of the offense is what this case should be based on. Number 8 says, finally, sympathy evidence is clearly inadmissible under Florida law. I don't understand why we're not allowed to have sympathy for what this child went through. I don't understand why we can't put sympathy in the minds and eyes of the jurors. I'm really mad about this. So I'm going to read number 8. It says, victim impact evidence, once it's this little section right here. Victim impact evidence. Once the prosecution has provided evidence of the existence of one or more aggravating circumstances as described in subsection 6, the prosecution may introduce and subsequently argue victim impact evidence. You're damn right, because we need victim impact evidence in this trial because of the gravity and the nature of the situation. The gravity and nature of her death, the gravity and nature of the abuse that she suffered from damn near the time we see her in that ABC video that she sings. Such evidence shall be designed to demonstrate the victim's uniqueness as an individual human being and the resultant loss to the community's members by the victim's death. So you're telling me that you don't want her portrayed as a unique individual human being, and her death is a loss of the community members. Like her death impacted that community, this community, that community over there, all the communities her death impacted, and could have been avoided if this monster had not been in her life. That needs to be proven in court or said in court. I mean, stop it right now. Characterizations and opinions about the crime, the defendant, and the appropriate sentence shall not be permitted as part of victim impact evidence. Well, you can just kiss my ass all the way from here to there. I'm reading this part right here. Florida's death penalty statute, section 921.141, limits the aggravating circumstances on which a sentence of death may be imposed to the circumstances listed in the statute 921.1415. The impact of the murder on family members and friends is not one of these aggravating circumstances. So the impact that her murder had on those children that we just heard, given their statement to police, like, that doesn't need to be taken into consideration. All her friends that loved her and cared about her, and the impact it's going to have on the rest of their life, doesn't need to be taken into consideration. I apologize. I had to get a sip of my drink. This makes me want to go choke them. I'll be honest with you. That's not a threat. It's a promise. I want to choke them. Not going to, but... Thus, victim impact is a non-statutory aggravating circumstance, which would not be an appropriate circumstance on which to base a death sentence. It would not be appropriate to base a death sentence. I mean, I don't know, because it's important what he did and the impact it had on others. It's extremely important. It's extremely important to understand the loss of this individual as a human being and her uniqueness and the impact it's having on all of her friends. It is absolutely imperative and important. I'm reading right here, this one. It's going to give us an example. It says, moreover, the trial court justified its findings that the murder, this is talking about another case, that the murder was especially cruel by referencing to a plurality of patently improper factors. These factors included the fact that the victim was married, rather ran the store alone, had led an honest, good life, would be missed by the community, was an immigrant who had made a good life, and was a kind and likable man. I mean, again, that needs to be mentioned in court. It needs to be taken into consideration when trying to figure out if you're going to give the death penalty to somebody. In my humble opinion, I think it's relevant. I think it needs to be weighed. Absolutely. Carr says agree to disagree. You disagree? Teresa says, it seems like the defense is trying to change the law for stepping stones benefits. Yeah. I've got a couple of things on page number 8 I'm going to read to you, including one that I've marked to be fair. So let's talk about that real quick. Okay. I'm at where it says second. Maybe. Is this number 8? No, that's number 7. All right, I'm starting where it says second right here. Second, this evidence is highly emotional and inflammatory, subverting the reasoned and objective inquiry that the courts have required to guide and regularize the choice between death and lesser punishment. Again, highly emotional and inflammatory is making me highly emotional and inflamed right now, because what he did is going to make anybody highly emotional and inflammatory. Now, it says, I'm at number where it says 4th right here. 4th, the evidence invites the jury to impose the death sentence on the basis of race, class, and other clearly impermissible grounds. So it's basically saying it invites the jury to base death on the fact that Madeline was well loved by the community. The community is going to be at loss without Madeline, instead of weighing his actual crime and what he did and basing his death on that. Like, I get that. But I do still feel like that's imperative information that the jury needs to know. I have this paragraph highlighted where it starts, this type of evidence portrays grief-stricken relatives expressing their extreme sorrow, sense of loss, and anger over the bereavement, often in highly emotional terms. They relay somatic and psychological symptoms of distress attributed by them to the murder, such as physical ailments, effects on pregnancy, lack of appetite, sleeplessness, nightmares, fears, and depression. Well, that should all be taken into consideration because those are a direct result of his actions. I'm sorry. No. Frequently, too, the adult survivors describe these conditions in their children. This event has no bearing on the circumstances of the crime or the defendant. To be fair, you should take what he did into consideration, okay, when you're sentencing somebody to death, right? But the effect that it's had on the community and the family members and all the people that are involved, the effect that it has on them now that he's committed this crime is important. I feel like it's important. I feel like it needs to be weighed. But I understand why they're saying it. Frequently, family members who were not present at the time of the killing and have no relation. Frequently, family members were not present at the time of the killing and have no relationship with the killer. Hence, they tend to dwell upon general good character traits and achievements of the deceased and perceived or surmise malevolent traits and misdeeds of the accused. But see, the thing is, he did, what did they say? Jennifer might have been present at the time of the killing, and he did have a relationship with this family. He did. He absolutely did have a relationship with his family, so therefore it should be null and void. That whole sentence should be null and void because he did have a relationship with the family. Hey, Jenny Jen, my love. Quicksilver, it's good to see you. What type of... Okay, hold on. I don't know. I don't know nothing about that. I hope to God she wasn't. You can be prescribed Miralax as a child due to, like, Adderall can sometimes cause constipation. I don't know. Supposedly there's something in an interview that Jen Soto talks about, which you can find if you would like to. I imagine there would have been signs too. When I take the fact that she was taking Miralax into consideration with all the other symptoms, I think it was obvious, but that's just me. You know, I wasn't there. I didn't see. I don't know. It's raising my blood too. Okay, and then lastly on this page, I have marked the first sentence of this paragraph right here. Unintended physical, emotional, and psychological after effects on relatives do not increase the moral blameworthiness of the killer. Bullshit. Bullshit. If you hadn't done what you did, then the unintended physical, emotional, and psychological after effects would not be there. They are there because of what you did. It's absolutely your fault. It needs to be weighed. The life-changing effects that this is going to have on her friends, on her family, on the community as a whole. Again, this is from As the Gavel Drops Discord. You can get this there, along with lots of other documents. So please go check them out. Lastly, I have this paragraph marked on this last page, and I wrote to be fair. So, number 11. The prejudice from evidence that creates The prejudice from evidence that creates sympathy for the deceased and or vilifies the defendant would virtually always outweigh their probative value, thus violating Florida Statute 90.403. This type of evidence is almost always a tearful, emotional recounting of the loss of a friend or loved one. Yeah, because it should be. As previously noted, this type of evidence has no relevance to any statutory aggravating factor. I think it does. It will inevitably shift the judges and jury's attentions away from reasoned weighing of aggravating and mitigating factors to a naked cry for vengeance. Now, I could see we have to try him for the crimes he's committed. We don't want there to be a crime for vengeance, a cry for vengeance, and him to be like held to the death penalty for that reason. However, there needs to be vengeance for Madeline. There has to be vengeance for Madeline. Like, I'm not. Okay, hold on. Pleading is another. What's wrong with this doctor? Didn't he? I don't know. I don't know. I haven't seen the last time she was seen by a doctor. Yeah, I don't know about the bleeding back there. Hemorrhoids would, be the reason. But to be fair, like, if you take your child to the doctor and you're not thinking that anything has happened to them necessarily, then I don't know that he would, like, spread her butt cheeks apart and inspect her butthole. You know what I mean? Not trying to be graphic, but that's what I have for that. I don't know. We'll find out more at trial, though, sweetheart. Okay, so that was from As the Gavel Drops Discord. I have 2 articles I want to read to you. One of them I just found on the Naziah Harris case, and it is absolutely horrific. And the other one is a quick update on the Megan Boswell trial. Now, the Megan Boswell trial, they have been doing jury selection for the past 2 days, and I'll go ahead and play that one. As soon as they start, I just got my FOIA back, so I'll work on that after the live, getting those videos out for y'all. As soon as the trial actually starts and it starts being streamed, I will have more information, and the lives will start at 10:30 in the morning, like I've had scheduled for the past 2 days, but I've gotten up to do the lives in the morning, and they were not streaming it. So real quick, I wanted to give y'all this update. This is for Megan Boswell. We'll play this video real quick. If it'll load. It says, with several already picked, the prosecution and the defense in the soon-to-begin Megan Boswell murder trial are continuing to screen potential jurors on Tuesday. Jury selection began on Monday and resumed at 8:30 a.m. on Tuesday. I'll pause that for a second and let it load. It says, okay, no. I don't know why it's got to load 17,000 ads. Like, that's what messes it up. It irritates me. Like, I'm not going to click on your ads and want to buy something when I see 17 pop up on a dang website, article, whatever, video I'm trying to read. It says, Monday saw several potential jurors excused due to their familiarity or exposure to Boswell's case through social media or news. Another hurdle Judge Jim Goodwin and the legal team have faced is finding jurors who can be subsequestered for weeks at a time, and the trial is expected to take more than 2 weeks. The sequestered jury, which Godwin noted would be the first one in Sullivan County in 15 to 20 years, would have limited access to their phones and televisions during the trial to avoid influencing their verdict. Of the 17 potential jurors picked Monday, 10 were women and 7 were men. While Monday was slow going, Tuesday's jury selection moved much faster. Okay. See, they got advertisements popping up all over the place. Lordy help us. Hold on, y'all. Hold on just a minute. Okay. Lordy. Okay. Tuesday's jury selection moved much faster when prosecutors decided to start by asking members of the jury pool if they could be sequestered for the amount of time needed. Several people screened on Tuesday had not heard of Boswell's case at all, which stood out in comparison to the 40 who were screened on Monday. Each of them had some knowledge regarding the case. Boswell herself has been in the courtroom throughout jury selection, speaking with her attorney, Gene Scott, and other members of her defense team. A jury could be seated as early as Tuesday afternoon. However, once the jury is selected, the jurors will be sent home to get their things and be put up in a hotel. Boswell's trial will begin when a full jury is selected and sworn in. Okay. I don't know why it closed out of that. I didn't even get to watch it, but okay. We're going to try it up here real quick. Let's see if it loads. If not, we'll go ahead to the article I have on Neziah. It says Estman. Oh, that's not even what I thought it was. Never mind. All right, so that's my update on Megan Boswell as of right now. And now I'm going to pull up this horrible article I found on the Neziah Harris case and read that. And then I'll probably have to go for the day because I need to get those videos out since my FOIA request just came back. I also need to get several of these document videos out. And the next couple of days, we're going to be streaming trials, the Megan Boswell trial from like beginning to end. However, I will start an hour and a half in so that we can skip through the breaks and the lunch break and like the the little 15-minute breaks they make and stuff. Now, I do want to provide a heavy trigger warning right now because I've got some information. This is a very graphic detail of what was going on with Neziah. It's very graphic. It's going to make you mad. It's disgusting. I have heard that her body has been found, that it's been verified by her brother. However, I haven't found anything in the news stating that it's her body. So until I hear that, I'm not going to tell you that her body has been found. This article is from Wayne County. It was written by Cara Berg from the Detroit News at 4:22 p.m., January 7th. Now, again, I'm giving you a heavy trigger warning. This is graphic AF, and it's absolutely disgusting. And if I could get somehow in that jail and get to this man, I would be in trouble. I would be on the death row. So it says Detroit, a 9-year-old cousin of Neziah Harris testified on Tuesday that she saw the man accused of killing the teen sexually assaulting her at his auto shop, and that he also tried to have sex with her, but she said no. The girl who the news is not naming because she's a minor, thank God for that, testified during a preliminary exam in Detroit's 36th District Court that Jarvis Butts told her 13-year-old Neziah and another cousin that he was going to take them to the store, but they ended up at the Detroit auto shop where Butts worked. And then he was trying to have sex with my cousin Neziah, the girl said. She said Butts, 42, was naked and Neziah was sitting on his lap, her pants on the floor. The girl said Butts had sex with her cousin on a second occasion and tried to have sex with her on a third occasion, but she said no and asked that he take her back home. Y'all, this is a 9-year-old little girl. Not to mention the 13-year-old little girl that he was abusing, and there is a 9-year-old little girl watching. As the girl testified, members of Neziah's family in the courtroom began sniffling and crying, and a couple had to leave the room. The girl testified during the second day of the preliminary examination against Butts, who is accused of sexually assaulting and killing Neziah in January 2024. Okay, after the hearing, District Judge Sabry will have to determine if there's probable cause for Butts to stand trial for the sexual assault and murder of Neziah, who was last seen in January 2024 after getting off the school bus. He's charged with first-degree murder, second-degree criminal sexual conduct, and 1 count of child sexually abusive material. The third and final day of the hearing will continue Wednesday morning. And we watched that. However, we have not seen the part where the judge tells him, "You are the monster." So we're going to grab that real quick and watch that. And that'll probably be it for me today. Yeah, I'm not. Y'all know how I feel about this case. Y'all know how upset I am about this case. Let me pull up my screen so y'all can see it. I have it saved, so if it doesn't pull it up this way, I'll pull it up. I saw a lot of people, Grizzlies, talking about the documents that we got and all of that. So I will be reading the documents and put them out there. Like I said, Hio's got a breakdown of each document. It's just real quick. She is the voice of reason over here. She grounds me and is like, we got to calm down and look at this from a psychological perspective. So regarding the trial, and I would advise you guys to go check her out. Like I said, I'm going to work on getting those audio interviews and reading these documents out for you guys. And then you can go check her out. And she'll basically tell us what it means. Now, again, this is going to be for the Naziah Harris case. This is the last time I'm going to cover it until it actually goes to trial. I do want to cover that trial as well if we're not already doing another trial. This is where the judge basically makes the decision on whether she's going to take it to trial. Because remember, this was a preliminary hearing to see if they had enough evidence to go to trial. So this is going to be from the News, Detroit News.
The one thing I had highlighted in case is the quote, "In this case, there was no physical evidence such as bloodstains or a weapon leading defendant to Joyce's death. In this case, we don't have the same facts or circumstances. I do agree this is a circumstantial case, and circumstantial evidence is sufficient for a bind over and even conviction. Today is January 9th, 2025, exactly 1 year, from the day Naziah Harris disappeared. Before I get into the charges, and the main charge of premeditated first-degree murder, I have to speak on Naziah Harris and the community who failed her. And I am only presented with certain evidence. I don't know the whole story. The attorneys know more than me. The family knows more than me. But from what I have heard over the last 4 days and 5 days total, is that several people failed her. I don't know where her mother is. I don't know anything other than that she was forced to live in a home where she was not protected or given the adequate attention and love.
That's the whole problem with this case. That child was obviously pregnant. We talked about that yesterday. Them teachers did not do a damn thing. She was left in the house with that monster. He was abusing her in the basement. Grandma didn't pay her no damn attention. Auntie didn't pay her no damn attention. That's why when this man came along and paid her attention, this man that she had to ask to buy her damn feminine products because she didn't have any and nobody would buy them from her. So she had to ask this sexual predator to buy her some damn feminine products. She was neglected. She was mistreated. She was not shown any attention. And this man came along and she fell for it, hook, line, and sinker. All his grooming, it was so easy for her to be groomed because she was not given attention. She didn't know that she was special. She didn't know her worth. We need to be making sure that these children know that they're precious, that they're loved, that they're beautiful, that they're unique, so that if somebody does approach them, it's not that easy. They already know they're beautiful. They already know they're special. They already have what they need. So these people can't do this.
I don't know where her father is. I don't have any mention of him in her life, no presence. To Cordell, aka King, and all the men who saw Jarvis Butts hanging out and always around these young girls, including Naziah, and his 9-year-old daughter going up to the shop to clean up his shop. The school.
They knew he was a sexual predator, still sent these babies up there to quote unquote clean up.
School counselor who never showed up, or the person who was supposed to show up if that counselor was absent, after Naziah was on the floor on the day she went missing, saying that she needed to speak to someone and speak to a counselor. There's no mention of CPS, but I wonder what their involvement was over the years, because this was not just a one-year thing. There are text messages at least from 2022 to her adoptive grandmother, Annette Harris, whose testimony, in my opinion, was very questionable. I understand why the people put her on the stand to establish Naziah's.
The damn whole family's testimony was very questionable.
And the houses on Bedford, and the regular routine to establish also that Naziah was not a runaway child, that she was not a bad kid. I do believe she adopted Naziah. I do believe that she had 6 kids in the house. I believe that Naziah had on a dark hoodie the day she went missing, and that she had on red and black Nikes that day. What is hard to believe is that the defendant never came into the house as she testified.
Yep.
That he did as well. Text messages that show.
Grandma said he never came in the house. Everybody else said different. You do. She knew. Her damn brother was a sexual offender in that video, kissing and loving all over Naziah.
Between him and Naziah that he did. In the basement. Saying
I'm
he goes
done.
to the shower. Stealing her panties.
People.
He was always lurking around that house and asking for Janiyah and Zaniyah, from what I know. I even thought about the breakfast routine and saying that all the kids like eating breakfast at school. Did they have a choice? I don't know. But to always send those girls up there to clean up the shop raises questions.
Yep.
And how were there 2 women in that house who have birthed children themselves who did not notice that Naziah was pregnant, and I believe she was, and not having her period anymore?
Because they weren't buying her feminine products, but you can see in that video this child is pregnant AF. Stop. I'm so this case is similar to Maddie's in the fact that they were both 13. They were both 13, possibly pregnant. One was pregnant, and they were both groomed by a sexual predator. Other than that, they're completely different. I'm this case, everybody failed her, and everybody failed Madeline too, but it was so obvious with Naziah. If Madeline had been walking around looking as pregnant as Naziah did, somebody would have been called. Somebody at that school would have done something. These school people up here in Detroit did not a damn thing. Didn't even contact the damn Detroit Police Department until a month later. I'm real livid about this case.
But then after hearing text messages today, begging Jarvis for pads as if she didn't have anyone else to give them for her. And what stood out the most was when Annette Harris stood on the stand, and she learned around 6 p.m. that Naziah did not come home from school, and said she looked around for her and decided to wait until the next morning to call the police. Without a tear.
Like I said, why? Where's your child sleeping that night? How do you know they're not in the woods alone, hungry and cold in the middle of fucking Detroit? Why? Because you knew she was laying on that floor because y'all was feeding that child antifreeze. I'm so mad.
Tear without emotion or any expression of being devastated. And to her Aunt Shannon, who also showed no emotion, expression of being devastated from Naziah going missing. She stated that she had friends help look for Naziah, but was directed to just wait until the morning to call the police. A grown woman who likely suspected something strange going on didn't feel the need to call the police either. They were both able to go to sleep at night without hearing from Naziah or having any indication that she was coming home that night.
They went to sleep just like Jen Soto did, without having any indication that this child was okay and safe somewhere, having eaten dinner and in a safe bed going to sleep. Nope, they don't know that. They just go on to sleep like babies. Angie says, so what makes us think the police will do a good job investigating or finding her body? Do they even care, in my opinion? The ones at the school didn't. it appears from the lady we heard testify that as soon as she got this information, she really investigated this case. And if she'd have had it earlier, if she'd have had it the month earlier that she went missing, when she actually went missing instead of getting it on fucking February 11th, I think that there would be a body. But by the time she got on the case, I mean, security footage and all that had already been overwritten. A lot of them at last a week. She didn't even know for a month.
And of course, the defendant, who I will get to in a minute. I don't know who else failed Desire, but the community did.
Yep, sure did.
As far as the people establishing probable cause, I will focus on count 1, as it's been stated that there is no contention with counts 2 and 3. In count 3, I will amend based off of the motion and the testimony I heard that Desire was 12 and not 13 at the time that Jarvis Butts had sexual intercourse with her. The prosecution is correct. You do not have to have a body to establish first-degree premeditated murder. It would have been a much shorter exam had her body been found, but this is where we are. In the last 365 days, no text messages. We all heard today and yesterday that she was very active and frequently texted. No social media for a year. We heard through testimony that she was also active on social media. No phone calls, which she was also able to do according to testimony. No physical sighting of her by anyone. She never came back to school. No one has seen her. Medical records dated from July 2014 to October 2023 indicated that she had no life-threatening medical issues that would lead to a natural cause of death. The black hoodie found in the area of Seven Mountain with her DNA and blood on it. The holes in the hoodie consistent with some sort of struggle, violence, or weapon being used.
Okay, so with her saying that, and it's not possible animal activity from those clothes being in the river, that tells me again, that goes back to the possible audio that Shannon flipped and started beating her in the head with something. And then Jarvis hid the body and is taking the fall because he thinks without a body, he'll get a lesser charge than he would about messing with her.
And we know that there were no holes in that hoodie when she wore it to school. We saw a picture of her in a black hoodie on her last day that everyone saw her. I do believe her grandma testified truthfully about the sweatshirt that she had on and that was practically new. And the border agent who said that no evidence of animals would have destroyed the clothing or the shoes to possibly lead to animals tearing up that hoodie. The clear glasses found in the blue Nissan the day after she went missing. The behavior of the defendant when he snatched those glasses. They looked exactly like the glasses she had on in her last picture, according to the witness. The shoes that her brother described as the same shoes that were found also in the area of Seven Mountain near the hoodie.
I hope so, darling.
While this is still probable cause, the evidence all points to Jarvis Butts. His locations, him being seen with her last, the abortion searches, the abrupt silence between the two of them in text messages, and the constant lies he told throughout the entire investigation.
This child was pregnant and scared, and he just stopped talking to her.
And they were proven to be lies with text messages and other testimony. We may never know what happened.
MSO.
But from what I heard today and over the last 4 or 5 days, it appears he intended to perform what he thought was a do-it-yourself abortion on Desire. It went south, and instead of seeking medical attention for her, he intentionally killed her and tried his best to cover it up. As much as I want her to be alive today, there is at least probable cause to show and believe that she's dead and she was murdered by Jarvis Butts.
Yep.
Mr. Butts, stand up.
Yeah, stand up, you piece of shit.
You've been sitting over there 4 days with your head down, sitting between and behind your attorneys with your mask on and taking vigorous notes. I want you to pay attention and listen to everything I have to say.
I make him take that mask off.
I have been trying to figure out for the last 5 days, you. At one point, I thought you were cognitively impaired in the beginning of this exam. And then maybe you had the brain of a 10-year-old, and that's why you were doing such things. But as I heard more and more testimony, you're just the true definition of a pedophile.
Yep.
Watching you laugh and brag about all the women you have with different women and the children and the girlfriends, and making babies to groom them and having them in your presence, cleaning up your shop, and the little girls around you, has landed you here today. You groomed Desire. You played mind games with her. We all heard that. You controlled her emotionally. She was exposed to so much at such a young age. The text messages between you two were disgusting to hear.
Yep.
And to think that she had you saved in her phone as bae for life. Desire.
That's how she saw him. He gets her pregnant. This baby is scared to death, and he ghosts her. Making it,
Her so much more. And
And
while I
then
mentioned
killed her.
other people that failed her, Jarvis Butts, you were the monster in this whole picture.
Mm-hmm.
She did deserve love from her parents and everyone who was in her life. She was ignored, she was neglected, and you took complete advantage of that. She wanted someone to love her, and she will never know what that feels like.
Nope.
Your children deserve more.
Yep. 13.
As much as the defense counsel has raised issues on count one, all that has done is raise the question of fact for the trier of fact, which means that this will be for a jury or a judge to hear in Third Circuit. I pray for the healing of all the victims and the young girls and possibly boys who have come into contact with you.
Chaz, I don't know. I wish she would make him take that fucking mask off because he deserves it. I heard he's walking into the court limping and having problems sitting down. I believe it 100%. And he deserved that too. And more. And more. He deserves more.
As a community, we should look at this case as a prime example of how much work we have to do when it comes to protecting our children and especially our Black girls. I pray for closure and healing for all those who have been traumatized by you. And for you, Jarvis Butts, I wish you a speedy trial and that justice be delivered. Your bind over date is January 16th at 9:00 a.m.
So that was that.
Could you please state your name for the record?
That's his sister testifying. She basically says she saw Naziah that day at the shop and that Naziah was skinny and walking by. Naziah won't skinny. Stop trying to cover for him. She won't skinny. Did y'all see the video? Well, I showed it yesterday. You'll have to go back and look because I haven't grabbed Tootie's links. So I want to thank y'all for being here. Again, if they're televising the Megan Boswell trial, if they have started it, I will go live with that immediately after this. But as far as I know, it should start tomorrow. I'm planning on that. If it doesn't start tomorrow, then it's going to be just like it was yesterday and today. You'll see a live come up that'll be for tomorrow at 1:30. I'm going to go so I can get these audios of these two friends of Maddie's out and start reading over these documents and get those out for you. Again, check out Hio for a breakdown of those. She is our voice of reason. She basically tells you what they mean and what they're trying to do. A lot of pages are going over documents now too that I saw. I do appreciate Plunder and I didn't ask, but I dropped her links and everything. She usually doesn't mind. I've asked her before. Please go check her out. She did a lovely breakdown of those audios as well. And I really appreciate you being here. Thank you for your support. Thank you for hanging out with me every day. I look forward to this time every day. I really enjoy spending time with our lovely Speculating family. I love you all. Stay safe out there. Tell your children that they are special. They are important and they are valued and loved. So these evil monsters can't work their way into their lives. And I'll see y'all tomorrow. Probably, hopefully in the morning with going over Megan Boswell and that trial. Have a good night. Bye.
Listen up, I gotta tell you, there is something you should know. I have never really liked you at all. future.